So without further ado, I would love, hey, come on now. Come on. Why would the thing do that? Why would the thing do that? Without further ado, I would love to introduce you guys to Commissioner Eileen Higgins. So let's get into it. Hello, News family. We have a very special guest in the building. I am so excited to have our next guest on. This is her first time making an appearance on the Hello News Can We Talk podcast, but I'm bet it's not going to be the last. Without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show Commissioner Eileen Higgins. Hey!
Well, hello. How are you on this beautiful day?
Oh, loving it. Loving this neck piece. Loving what you're giving, the fashion statement here. Love it.
Well, let me just tell you, when you go to County Hall and you sit up on the dais, what I can tell you is I'm right under an air conditioning vent. So I'm always wrapped up in a scarf like I live in Alaska instead of Miami.
No, it's cold in the county commission building, but any building in Miami is always freezing because it's so hot outside. So I feel like that's the balance, like of what we have to deal with, right?
Indeed.
Well, welcome to the show, Commissioner Higgins. I'm so glad to have you on. You're having an amazing event. And here on Hilo News, we love to talk about small businesses and resources that are happening. And you have something that is coming up that you're working on and that we can share with our audience. So we'll just jump right in. Tell us what the Elevate Small Business Conference is all about.
Well, this is a one-day conference. It's free for small businesses throughout Miami-Dade County, of which we have a lot of small businesses. It's going to be at Miami-Dade College's Wilson campus. And what I've tried to do is bring together experts from all across the country and from our community to provide ideas, inspiration, insights that may not always be available to small business owners here. For example, we have the former Assistant Secretary of Commerce. She's going to come down. We have the opportunity to work at the Wilson campus's Artificial Intelligence Lab to talk about how AI can help even the smallest business with making their operations more efficient or working on communications. It's going to be cool. We're expecting probably over 500 people. You'll meet lots of people that have businesses just like yours, and people have businesses that are different than yours. It's an opportunity to learn, network, and spend a day working on yourself as the owner of a small business.
I love that. And as a small business owner, like these type of events are near and dear to my heart. And we were talking a little bit offline about, you coming from a small business family. Tell us, a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and like your connection to small businesses.
Yeah. Well, I grew up, my dad started his own business and I was 12 years old, and it was he and his business partner. They started an engineering company. And I just remember they barely made ends meet, right, as they're starting out. But whenever they would hire a new employee, they couldn't afford to go to the store to buy furniture and bookcases. So we would have on Saturday afternoon, we would barbecue in the backyard and we'd literally build the desks and the bookcases for that employee. And they weren't very nice. And over time, the business grew. So I saw firsthand what it takes to really make sure you have a thriving business. And for my dad, it was really important. He had grown up in kind of a rough environment, was orphaned at a pretty young age. And he always said, I did not want my family to ever go through what he went through. And being a business owner was really important to him. But there's all of those things that I got the privilege of watching as a child, right? You got to build your own desk. How do you get a loan? Do you take out a second mortgage? And so when I was elected in 2018 as a county commissioner, one of the core values and tenets of all of my work on the commission has been making sure the 8,000 small businesses in District 5 feel supported. And I launched Elevate District 5. And since then, we've had over 1,000 businesses participate, whether it's training in marketing, how to find customers online. Now we've trained over 100 businesses on the use of artificial intelligence. We've had scale-up programs, access to capital. As a matter of fact, now a lot of them do business together. They've become friends and mentors to each other. And so this conference was taking a lot of the learning and feedback from these people about topics they wanted to know more about. And we're putting it all together in a one-day event.
Oh, that's what's up. And, I love the fact that you're so intentional about like the work that you're doing for small businesses. I'm just wondering, like, you mentioned District 5 businesses. Is this just for the people that live in District 5? Is this a countywide? Like, can you tell us who can attend and like, is there a cost or registration to it?
There's no cost to registration. It's countywide. We're working with chambers of commerce to make sure that local businesses, no matter what neighborhood they're in, whether they're down south, we've got the little Haiti chamber, we've got the Miami-Dade chamber, which now has a brand new office in Liberty City. I think you visited? You visited, right? It's cool.
Yes.
Beautiful. So Eric and his team is helping. We've got Metris and the team from the Overtown Business Association, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. And just spreading the word that this is going to be a great day. We've got resources for people. There's no cost. There's a website. You can go see the agenda. It's elevatesmall.biz, B-I-Z. And we're looking forward to a really good day. And all of the chambers are coming together to make sure that small businesses in this community feel really, really supported. Hey, there it is up on
yes.
Somebody's got it going on.
Yes, if you're looking at this screen, we pulled up the website for you, so you'll know where you're going when you pull up the web address and go over to the small business conference. And so can you take us, Commissioner Higgins, can you take us through the day of programming? What can people expect when they get there from the start to end?
All right, if you want to come early, we're going to do like speed networking and of course coffee. Then we're going to have some general sessions with two speakers that we're flying in to talk about the small business ecosystem overall, and then also a journey of how do you go from small to scaled to large. Then throughout the entire day, we've got a number of breakout sessions. So certainly for people that are interested in technology, we've got an AI breakout session. We're also looking at the impact of tariffs. You hear about it on the news all the time,
yes.
Right? But what does it mean for a small business, right? I was at the hair salon. I obviously don't have any extensions, but like, oh my God, like me. I'm like, yeah, well, let me tell you, extensions with the tariffs are now $30 more. And not everybody can afford that. Like everybody wants to look good, but there's a, we're not the richest people in the world. So what will tariffs and that environment really mean? And so I do think there's something for everyone. And I don't know about you, but access to capital is key. When I first got started in launching the Elevate program almost 4 years ago now, we did a survey of the small businesses in my community and asked them, when you need capital, what do you do? And you know what they said? They use their credit cards.
Wow.
They know it's bad. We know it's bad, but they weren't prepared to get that first loan. Right? They individually had credit, but the business didn't have credit. And in response to that, I've already launched 2 revolving loan funds that are only available to Miami-Dade County businesses.
Really?
And one is called the New Heights Microloan Fund, and that's for your first small loan, right? Maybe you'll get $5,000. Maybe you'll get $10,000. Really low interest rates, 3%. So a heck of a lot better than a credit card.
Yeah.
And then when you pay that back, you're then you're then able to go to the Rise Miami-Dade Fund, which is another fund that I launched. That's capitalized at about $30 million, and you can get $250,000 in a loan. And so what I've tried to do through my Elevate program is make sure there's technical training. And then when these business owners go through this training, it shows that they're committed to themselves. And when you're committed to yourself as a professional, your business is going to succeed, right? You're professionally developing yourself. And then once you've done that, you're eligible to apply for these loans. And through the programming over the past few years, we have businesses that used to only be in this country that are now in 7 or 8 countries. We have restaurants that had 1 location that now have 6 or 7. It's amazing to see what happens when you invest in the owner of a small local business. And let's be very clear, we all live in Miami. Our local business owners are cool. They're from all over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got, folks from Haiti. We've got folks from Nicaragua. We've got folks from Cuba. We've got folks from Honduras. All different points of view, but unique ways of investing in the kinds of businesses that make our communities so much more special than other parts of the country. But they need resources, and we have the resources in this county. They just weren't connected to them. So I have worked long and hard to make sure through Elevate District, the Elevate Small Business Programming, they get those resources. And once they've learned how to run the best business ever, that we have capital that they have ready access to in a way that they can't. You're never going to get your first loan from a big bank. They're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now in our county, through this work, we have those interim steps: the small loan for the first one, the medium loan, and then guess what? Then you're on your own. You go to the SBA, you go to some big fancy bank. You're out of the nest, so to speak.
This is amazing, and this is countywide. I'm almost like mad at myself for not knowing that these programs exist. I know about the Mayor Cava's initiatives and what Indeed is doing, but I have not heard about Elevate. So I'm so glad you're coming on to our platform to share this with our audience, because sometimes maneuvering, local government, especially county government, and figuring out what resources are there or available is not the easiest thing. And sometimes it's intimidating, for the average person. So when someone like you comes on and say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why, it allows people to reach out and ask for help. And now they know more about it. Like, this is really, really cool. How many years have you guys been doing this?
So we launched the full program. Small Business Week is always the first week of May every year. And so we launched 3.5 years ago and have already helped. I think I've invested through almost $3.9 million so far into the businesses in my district. We've got over 1,000 businesses participating. 750 have had some kind of grant or some kind of loan. So it's cool. I said the wrong thing. 750 have participated in some sort of professional development. But I am so proud. And I'll tell you what, when we first launched the first Small Business Week, everybody walked into the kickoff program and all these small business owners just stood around. You know how it is. And you're like, oh crap, we need an icebreaker. These people aren't talking. Like, all right, whatever.
Miami people, we all say we're not friendly.
So when our first year anniversary of running the program, we had another breakfast mixer where we had access to capital advice. And I'm like, we need an icebreaker. I don't want to be where we were last year where people feel awkward when they walk into a room. We do not need an icebreaker anymore. These people have courses together. They have WhatsApp groups together. They're growing their businesses together. One's become the accountant for the other. The other's the marketer for this operation.
Wow, that's amazing. So the community is built.
Our problem is that our mixers, we can't get anybody to shut up because they're such a good time. So, anyway, it's fun. It's good. And it's good to see the camaraderie and the connection, right? Small business owners are the most independent people you'll ever meet, right? In our community, so many of them are immigrants. They're even more independent, right? They left somewhere horrible to try to start a new life here. So they've got independence embedded into them. Then you put the small business in independence, but you got to be interconnected, right? We don't want you to give up your independence, but you got to be interconnected to the resources that are going to help your business survive. And that's what I've tried to do. And we're going to have more fun on October 24th at the conference.
Love it. And, Commissioner Higgins, while I have you here, I would love to know your thoughts on the role that small businesses can play or starting a small business when it comes to the Black community and building generational wealth. Because what we see, just for me personally, from being somebody from South Florida, we see a lot of brain drain. We see a lot of people moving out of, Miami-Dade County because they feel like maybe it's too expensive or that, it's no place for them here. But I do think that business ownership can be a pathway to be able to retain some of our, bright talent, especially within the Black community. I would love to know your thoughts on that and how these resources can help, strengthen a Black-owned business.
I think it's crucial, right? And that is what makes our neighborhoods unique. And as many people know, we have all of these fantastically interesting ideas. And when you're able to put them together, and so, for example, we were just chatting about the new headquarters in Liberty City of the Miami-Dade Chamber. But part of that opening, and the county was very intentional on this, is making sure there's co-working spaces for Black businesses, because part of getting started is the cost of rent in real estate, right? And so this way, when people are just starting out, they have a place to go that's incredibly affordable, and they're not alone. I mean, I know some people like to work from home, but let me tell you, I get my best ideas from chatting with other humans.
That part.
So for me, that's just me. Maybe I'm an extrovert. I don't know. Maybe. But so creating and fostering spaces like that, there's similar spaces in Overtown, and then making sure these business associations are resourced and connected to all of the things you were just talking about, Mayor Cava's Thrive 305 programming, and programs like this in Elevate District 5. And we've got to find a way to make sure when somebody starts a small business, they get all of the investment in themselves to be successful, right? Because I grew up in a family. Entrepreneurs are good at a couple things. They're great at figuring out what the product is, right? But you also got to sell and service it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to manage your cash flow. So it's not easy, right? It's not easy to be good at all three of those things. None of us are good at all three of those things when we come out of the womb. Those are skills we develop over time. And that's where programs like this come in handy, especially in the Black community. And, you're seeing up in Overtown now, Mattress and Tina, the Overtown Youth Center, they're opening the new center there. They become authorized, they've received recognition as one of America's main streets, which comes with technical skills and redevelopment. And then fortunately with the CRA, they've done a great job at restoring a few of the historic businesses up there and open them as art galleries. So there is a fledgling entrepreneurial scene in Overtown that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And you got to worry about gentrification all the time, right? We can't be gentrifying the neighbors out of the neighborhood. So for me, it's very refreshing to see that they're Black-owned businesses in my opinion, our most famous, right, historic Black neighborhood. And reinvestment in Liberty City is going to be key to the city's survival, because, as you know, particularly the Liberty Square development, those dilapidated, well, you've seen them. They're just, the idea that was the way folks were forced to live, because they had low incomes, it's disgusting. And the county has really worked hard in making sure that every single person, and we have now achieved that, every single person that was living in those horrible little barracks is in a new apartment or a new townhouse. And in doing that, renovate the area to make sure there's parks, that there'll be access to a grocery store, and having small businesses there are key. And I think you've probably been up to the new Roots bookstore. We haven't had a Black-owned bookstore, in that part of town. We certainly have Mr. Mapu's bookstore over in Little Haiti, but that's what you need. And bookstores are not a place where you buy books if they're done properly. And these guys are properly. They're gathering spaces for people to think and be with each other and advocate for community. And so we got to do more of that. That's for sure. And that's what, that to me is what Elevate's for. And that's why when we did this conference, I thought, I'm not just going to do it in my district. The people we're flying in are pretty significant. The college is so gracious. They have all the space. We really can handle 500, 600, 700 people. So don't feel badly wherever you live. And quite frankly, if you're in Broward, we're not going to tell anybody. Feel free to come. There are no borders here. You could just go.
This is amazing, and it's really refreshing to hear you speak of the community, small businesses, Black-owned businesses in that way, because a lot of times a lot of us live in our silos. We don't know what people are doing in different districts. So the fact that, to me, that you've been intentional and keeping an eye out on like what's happening in Overtown and Liberty City. It's really refreshing. I hope that the audience is taking note of that. Before I let you go and give you one last plug on the conference, I would love to know your thoughts, because you seem to me to be an advocate for local businesses. And when we think about the future of Miami-Dade County, we see the tech bros coming in and these large corporations, and sometimes it feels like the soul of what makes Miami, is kind of like being pushed out, because that is a big part of it is small businesses. What do you hope the role of a thriving or successful small business culture or a community looks like in Miami-Dade County? Like, what do you hope that we're working towards, and like what are your goals, or what do you want to do to contribute to that?
So we need both. Right? At the end of the day, we need a thriving small business community. And by the way, we have to have it. 80% of our businesses here have less than 10 employees. Our economy fails. Now, in the meantime, we've been very fortunate to attract some very interesting tech companies which could provide high-paying jobs. What is important, right? Because not everybody wants to run a small business. It's 24/7. You don't have to go to work at 8:30 and come home at 5:30, right? Right?
Yes.
It's not for everybody. But these large companies, what we need to make sure is our people, right? Whether it's from the Black community, the Haitian community, or the Venezuelan community, or that we are in those jobs. And I'm really, really proud, particularly of Miami-Dade College. And I've gotten to work with them along with the mayor on an EDA grant from the Department of Commerce for Miami Tech Works program, where the college is training people and they are instantly getting internships in these companies in high paying tech jobs. So I think that's how, I don't want to say we want to infect them, but we do. Our people in there.
I mean, that's real. That we should be in.
Like we need to be in there. They can't be just flying folks down here to take those jobs. Otherwise, and when that happens, what happens? Our housing crisis gets worse. Right? What we need is the folks that already live here to be trained up. And I don't know about you. You don't have all the skills to get a tech job. I don't have all the skills, but Miami-Dade College can quickly get you or me ready. And then we are working, whether it's at a Citadel or whether it's a Kaseya or, and all of these other companies that are coming here, that they become part of our community rather than separate from our community. And so we got to do both. Because people want different choices. Some people would like to work in a large company and have that experience, but it has to be our people. We can't constantly be having folks come in from elsewhere who are basically displacing, what they've done to the rents. So we need people trained up to get in there as they grow. And that's happening slowly but surely. It's happening.
I love it. And I like that you said that it's a balance. It's, a thriving small business community, but also to larger companies offering higher paying jobs that people from our market, our community can get as well. So I like that.
And
that
it's a virtual cycle. Like the more of these larger companies are here, the more they're likely to need local advertising or local promotional agencies or eat at a local restaurant, right? It is a virtuous cycle as long as our people are employed by those companies in good high paying jobs, right? Not the low crappy jobs. So that's, and I don't know, I was just thinking in the back of my head, we also have to arts and community-based organizations, like you all are welcome to this Elevate conference. You employ people, you're an economic driver. The arts community is $1.4 billion in economic activities. And so sometimes just because you're not making a profit, people think of themselves differently, but you're still managing people. You're managing growth. You're managing your cash flow. You have a product to sell. Maybe it's ballet, but that's product, right? And so you all are welcome too. And I've been very intentional about making sure in the Elevate program that all of our community-based organizations and arts organizations have been invited from the forefront. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody else knows they're welcome too. They need access to capital to grow, right? So
yes. No, small business, I mean, nonprofit organization is still a business, just a different tax designation. Right. So I'm so glad that you broke that down, because sometimes, like you said, some people separate the two and they may think, oh, this may not be for me. No, this is for the community. And look, High-Low News family, we got to make sure that we show up, tell them that High-Low News sent you, tag us if you're taking photos or videos on social media so we can repost it. Commissioner Higgins, you are now a friend of the show, so please come back.
All right.
Please coming back, telling us what the amazing things that you're doing in District 5 and, any of your future endeavors. We would love to share that with our audience. You were a breath of fresh air, and I love the energy that you brought to High-Low News. I felt like you understood the assignment, so I appreciate it.
Hey, and it's good. It's a break. It's committee week on commission. So, I usually have to sit and listen to a lot of items. So this is a breath of fresh air for me. So
love it. Yes. Let's plug the conference one last time so people know like the who, what, when, where, and why, and how they can attend.
October 24th, Miami-Dade College Wolfson campus, and elevatesmall.biz, B-I-Z. You'll find all the details and you can sign up there.
Yes, and it's on the screen. So head to elevate small.biz, and we'll have a link in our description and on our website. This will be an article as well, so you guys can get that information and click on it easily, and we'll share it on social media as well. Commissioner Higgins, this has been a pleasure to be able to interview you and speak with you and just to get to know you a little bit better. I did not even know all the work that you're doing around small businesses. So I'm so glad that I was able to hear your story and the work that you're doing to elevate other small businesses like myself. I'm definitely going to try to run over to the conference or send a reporter there, because what you're doing definitely needs to be shared with our audience. So thank you for seeing value in High-Low News and coming to share your story with us.
Awesome. Anytime.
Yes. We'll see you next time, and don't be a stranger.
Thanks so much.
High-Low News family. Sorry. Commissioner Higgins, thank you again for coming on the Can We Talk podcast, for coming and seeing value in our platform. And also too, we're growing in our influence. So, it's not just us coming for High-Low News. The other girls are coming over here too. I love it that they see the value in local news and what we're doing over here at High-Low. And I always say this, High-Low News is for everybody, right? We're not just for, the Black community, in the sense of like, our content is catered to the Black community, but everybody's welcome. You got information that our community should know about, Black and brown millennials should know about, come on over to High-Low. Okay.